Okay, so basically the mainline logic. Mainline logic is almost every procedural computer program that follows the general structure. Right? You have the declaration for the global variable and constant. You know that global variable and constant. That means that they are the variable and constant you can use in any module in your program. That's the name is global, right? Global, that means you can use it in any module and a submodule here. The second one is a housekeeping chart here. That is a step you must perform at the beginning of a program to get ready for the rest of the program. And also we have the detailed loop task, do the core work of the program. And later on, I explain the concept here in the detail here. And of course, the last thing you have end of job is a step you take the end of the program to finish the application here. Think about this one. I think about you have the sample payroll report here, right? So in the payroll here, you have a multiple employees. You have a multiple employee here, right? For each of them, you have the gross income, and you have the deduction, and you have to find out the net income here. And net income is you find out from the gross income you deduct for the deduction, right? So we see for this one here, the process is work for multiple times, right? You see, you just deduct it, and deduct it. Now you see, the process here is a repetition. It's repetitive action here, right? You do the same for every employee here. The first one, the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one. So that is the case you work with the mainline logic. Mainline logic, that means you do the loop. Because you see, every action here do the same, right? For everyone, you just do the growth here. You do the gross, you have the net here, right? You actually have the net here, you assign to the gross, and you minus for the deduction here. For every employee, you do the same process here, right? You do the same process, you just find out net income by gross, you deduct for deduction here. You do it again and again and again. That is the process you apply for the loop here. A loop is a repetitive action, right? You do the same process here. So basically for this one here, to make it simple, I can give you the example here, right? So think about this one. I have my program here, right? I have my program here. So in that program, the first step here, I declared for the everything about the global variable and constant here, right? I have name in string format. I have gross here in the number format. I have deduct here in the number format. I have net income here in the number format, right? I have rate here. Rate is constant. Everyone you have the deduction for 25%. Right? And again, there are some of the constant here. There are some of the constant here. Right now, I don't want to detail for this one here. Now you see, if you look on this program here, if you look in my program, I have declaration here. This is the process I call for the module housekeeping. Right? You know the process here, right? So whenever I have the module name and parentheses here, that means I call for the action in the module in the module here, right? So I call for the housekeeping here. Housekeeping need to everything with the print it out here. I think I have to print it out the table here. But the key thing in the housekeeping here, I need to get the name. I give the name here, but remember the name here is only the name of the first employee only. Remember that. Remember that, right? And this is the case they call it the housekeeping. That the housekeeping is a process you get that in the loop. You get that in the loop, right? So I get the name. I get the name here. You see, I got the housekeeping here. I got the name of the first employee here. Now you know that when I return here, right? I have to go back to the main program. I move to the next statement here. I check with the condition here. So why his name is not quit? Quit that what is it? This is constant. Quit here is act here. Right? So basically the process here, that means you keep doing it for multiple employees. You employee A, B, C, and D, and so on. And if you want to terminate the loop, you enter the name act here. That means when you exit. Right? So here, the key concept here, you know that in the housekeeping here, they define the housekeeping. What is the define housekeeping here? That is a that is step you must perform at the beginning of program. You have to perform at the beginning of the program to get ready for the rest of the program here. So in my program here, that is process. For sure, I need to do it here. Right? I need to get the name of the first employee here. I need to get it because I have the condition here to check with the loop here, right? Why the name is not here? I keep doing it. I keep doing it. I keep doing it here. Make sense? If I don't get the name here, I check the why the name is not with. I got a syntax error because you know that when you use variable here, you have to initialize first, right? If I don't have here, if I don't get the name here, I got the syntax error because if you want to check the name, you have to initialize first, right? That's why you have to initialize here. So basically, that is the process of the mainline logic. Mainline logic, that means you do the repetition. You do the repetitive action here, right? And you need to get that name of the loop. You have to initialize the variable that controls the loop here. So if you want to know which one is the one who controls the loop, you look at the y here. You look at the y here, right? That means you keep doing it. The name here, it is the variable that controls the loop. You keep doing it again and again and again and again until the name it is here, right? If not you just keep doing it here. Make sense? Okay, so now you see, I have the housekeeping here. Actually, it's a process. I get the name of the first employee. I get that in the loop, right? So when I check the name here, it's not like again, I call for the data loop here. So when I call for data loop, I jump to the data loop here, right? That enters the gross, and I get the gross here, right? I get the deduct here. Deduct is the gross times the rate here. Rate is a 25%, right? And from that, I can figure out what is the net here. Net is gross minus deduct here, and of course, I print it out. What is employee name, gross, and deduct, and net here? Now, that is a very important concept. If you want to go on with another employee, you need to get a new name. Right? You need to get a new name. So when we got a new name here, again, you go back to check the condition here. If the new name is not, you keep doing it for that employee here, and do it again and again and again for multiple employees until you enter here. Right? So basically, in the mainline logic here, you have the three concepts. The first one, you have to initialize. You have to initialize the variable who controls the loop here. That's controls the loop here. You have to initialize before the loop. That's why you do the housekeeping here. The second one, you check the condition of the variable that controls the loop here. If not correct, you keep if the correct here, you keep doing it. Right? If the correct here, you keep doing it. If not correct, you exit the loop here. That's the first thing, right? The first one, you have initialize variable. The second one here, that's the first one, right? That's the first one. That's why you see you do the housekeeping here. The second one, you check the condition here. Now, the third one also is very important. The third one is very important inside the body of the loop here. Inside the body of the loop here, you always have action to change the value of the variable that controls the loop. Because if you want to move to the next employee, you have to change the name here, right? Or if you want to exit the loop, you have to put X here. Okay. Now, let me do a very simple program here. Let me do a very simple program in the mainline logic here. So I hope you understand the concept. Think about this one. Think about in my program here, right? In my program here, program keep asking user enter the number and print it out the double of that number here, right? And process and when the user enters the number 0. That means it keep asking user enter, right? So if he enters the number 1 here, if he enter number 1, it prints out number 2. If he enter number 10, 5, it printed out number 10, and 10 printed out number 20. You keep doing it until if you enter the number 0, program terminated, right? So in this program here, you see the process, I do the same, right? I have to initialize here. I have to initialize the number here because the number is the one that controls the variable. That's what controls the loop here, right? So in the case of mainline logic here, I have to initialize the variable before I go to the loop because later on I check here. If the number, why the number is not 0, I keep doing it, right? So that's the first step. See, initialize the loop control variable before you enter into the loop here, right? Okay, the second one here, you have to test the value of the loop control variable. And if the condition is met, it will set into the body of the loop. So if it's true, you go to the body of the loop. If it's wrong, you exit the loop, right? Okay, so that's one here. You keep enter the number. If number is not zero, you keep go to the body of the loop here, right? And the third one here, that's the second one, right? So see, you have to initialize here. The second one, I have to test it here, and the third one here, you have to modify the control variable within the loop. Eventually satisfy the condition that cause the loop go to the end. Right? That's why you see, if I want to move on to the next iteration here, I need to get a new number. Or if I want to exit, I put the 0 here. Okay, so now you see, you can observe it very clearly when I run with the Python here. So we see the process here. Right? You see the process. Sorry, I forgot it. Yeah. Okay. So here's the process I work with the Python here, but basically it follows the same with the pseudocode here. Right? So what is it? The first step here, I have to initialize it. That is the first step. Right? I have to initialize the number variable here because the number is the one that controls the loop here, right? I keep doing it until the number 0. So you see, that's the process. I need to get the first number from user. Make sense? And now when I got the number here, I check the condition here. The y's number is not equal to 0. I double that number, right? I print it out that number here. Now, that is the third step. I need to get a new number. I need to get a new number in order to move on to the next iteration or in order to exit the loop here. Make sense? Now, so that is the first one. That is the second one. That is the third one. And you know that for the mainline logic here, you have the three components. The first one here, initialize the loop control variable. In my program, it is a number here. It is sorry, not this one. This one. In my program, that is number here, right? That's why I initialize it here. Right? I initialize it here. I got the number here outside and before the loop, before I enter the loop. Now that's the first one. The second one, I test the condition here. If the number is not 0, I go to the body of the loop. Right? That's the second one. And the third one, you see, the third one here, I need to modify the number. That means I need to get a new number in order to move on to the next iteration or in order to exit my program. Okay, so it follows exactly the same with my Python here. It follows exactly the same with my Python here. Right? That is the first step. That is the first step here. I initialize. That is the first step. The second step here, I test the condition here. If the condition is true, I go to the body of the loop, right? And you see, at the end of the loop here, I need to get the new number here. That is the third one. I have to modify the value of the variable that controls the loop. Right? So we see when I run my program here, you can see when I run my program here, and I work with the break here. So when I run it, right? So when I run it here, you can see in my program. Oh, this is, I don't know, this one is no. That's why, so should be better I open it from. Okay, so we see when I enter number 1, you see what happened here. You see I have number 2, if I have number 5, number 10, and number 20, and if I put a 0 here, you see if I put 0 here, I exit the loop. Right? Okay, now I tell you that for the mainline logic, you have the 3 components, right? If you're missing any one of them, you got the problem. If you're missing any one of them, you got the problem here. So think about this one here. If I do not initialize, right? If I do not initialize here, well, I put it in the command here. But so basically, when in the Python, when you put a hashtag here, that means when we execute, it ignores it. Right? So see, If I do not initialize the number first, when I run my program, here, you can see what's going wrong here. When I run my program here, you can see what goes wrong. Yes, you got the syntax error. Because the program here check y number is not equal 0. But what's the number? You have not initialized here, right? That's why you got the syntax error here. Right? That's why. The first step, make sure that you have to initialize the variable before you go to the body of the loop here. Right? You go to the body of the loop here. The second one, the step here, the y number is not 0. You go to the body of the loop. Right? And the third one here, you need to get the new number. Now see what happened here. What happened if I do not have this step here? You make a guess. What happened? Now make a guess. What happened if I don't have this step? What happened? Now make a guess. What do you think? What happened if I remove this line here? What happened with my program? Make a guess.
Yeah, I think it just loops.
It's endless loop. You know why it's endless loops? Now see, if I put the number here, right? If I put the number here, number 5 here, you can see what happened. Right? The number here, I store it in the variable name number here. And put the number 5. So we see what happened. Now I check here. Number 5 here, not 0. Right? Number 5 is 0. So what happened here? You print you have answer here, number 10, right? Answer here. And you print it out, answer number 10. And what happened? This one, do it again and again and again forever. Because you know why? Because number always stay at 5. And the condition here always true. So when the condition true, you do it again and again and again and again and again forever. Make sense? Because you know for the loop here, when you do the loop here, right, you've done everything with the body of the loop, you have to go back to check the condition. Right? You have to go back to the condition. You go back to check the condition. You go back to check the condition here. And you see the number always stays at 5. And the condition here always true because 5 never ever equal to 0. That's why it is endless loop here. Right? So see, when I run my program here, you can see what is going wrong with my program. Right? So if I put number 5 here. So see, it do it again. Now keep running. Keep doing it forever here. Right? You keep doing it forever here. That's the problem here. That's why you see. That's why basically for the mainline logic, you have to follow the process here. Right? You have the 3 steps. You have the 3 steps. You have to initialize the variable that controls the loop. And how can you tell which one is that controls the loop? You just look in the condition here. You look in the y. You know that whenever you see y, that is the loop. Right? And you see, number here, that is the variable that controls the loop. Right? So basically, for this one, for sure, you need to initialize first. Otherwise, you got the syntax error. Right? This one apply for every programming language. But in the Python, of course, you can work with the while true or whatever here. But this one is a computer logic. It apply for every programming language. Right? So basically, you see, the first step, you have to make sure you have initialized the variables that control the loop here. Right? And how can you tell which one is the control the loop? You look at the y. You look at the y. Right? And you see the condition here. If the number is y, the number is not 0, you keep doing it. Right? So that's the first one. The second one here, and the third one, make sure you need to change the value of the variable that's controlled in order to move to the next iteration or in order to exit programming. Is that okay? Okay, so that is the mainline logic. I just go back to the definition of mainline logic here, right? Mainline logic is some step here in the program. You have the declaration here for the global variable and constant. The second one, housekeeping here. That's the process. I mentioned that. The housekeeping here actually is the process you initialize the variable that controls the loop here, right? And the detail loop here, detail loop, that means you go to the detail loop. If the condition true, you just keep doing it in the detail of the loop here, and that's the end of job here. So basically, for when you work with the mainline logic here, they break it down into the module, right? The first step, you do the declaration here, housekeeping here. You know that housekeeping here. That is the name only, right? That is the name only. You can put it get ready or whatever. It's up to you. But the housekeeping here, you know that housekeeping here actually is the process you initialize variable. That controls the loop. That's all. That's all. You can put it in the housekeeping here, and you keep doing it here. You keep doing it here. If the condition true, you go to the detail loop here and keep doing it and keep doing it here. But make sure in the detail loop here, you always have the action to change the value of the variable that contains the loop. Otherwise, you got my problem here, right? Okay, so we see in the program here for this one also. If you look on this one, this program here, that means you get from the user for multiple employees, right? For multiple employees here, and you keep doing the process for each employee. You need to get the name, and you need to get the gross, and you figure out what is the net income here. Right? You do it for multiple employees here. So if you look on this program here, if you look at this program in the pseudocode, or you look in this program in the flowchart here. Now tell me, what is the variable that controls the loop here? Tell me. What is the variable that controls the loop here? Yeah, right? Because you see, here, why here, right? You keep doing it. If the name is not I here, you keep doing it here. You keep doing it here, right? And you know that the name here is the variable that controls the loop. For that one, you have to initialize first. That's why you do with the housekeeping here. Housekeeping here, you get the name here, right? So basically, for the housekeeping here is to initialize the name of the first employee a week in order to go to the loop, right? So in the body of the loop here, so see, I initialize the name here. I check here if name is not here, I go to detail loop. So when I go jump to the detail loop here, I figure out everything. Yeah, I printed out everything here. But again, you see, at the end of the loop here, I need to get a new name here. Right? I need to get a new name here in order to go to the next iteration or in order to exit the loop. Make sense? Okay. So if you look into the flowchart also, you can see what happened here. You see, that is a condition here. Right? If name is not here, I go to the loop. Right? I can do it again and again and again. Right? And also, in the detail loop here, we can see what happened here. You need to get a new name at the end here. Right? You need to get a new name at the end here. Otherwise, you have endless loop here. Okay? So for this one also, I write in the Python here, so we can observe it. We can observe with the Python here. Yeah, this one here, right? So you can see this one here, right? In the Python here. So I tried my best to follow the same with the process here, right? So we think about this one. If I write in the Python, you can think about this one. Everything about the constant here, right? They are constant because in the Python you do not have to declare variable first. You can use it. You can instantly use it here, right? So everything here is a constant. You know the rate here is a 25%. Which here is string, right? It's string format, and that means the name. If the name is x here, I exit the loop, right? And you know that if you use a string here, you have to put it inside the quote mark here. That is string, right? If you don't have here, you have the syntax error here because you understand here is a variable, right? Okay. So now you can think about this process here. That's the process I do the housekeeping, and you see, I need to initialize the name here. I need to get it. I need to get it from the user, right? I need to get it from user, and I start into the variable name here. And now I check here. If name is not quiz, that means I here, right? If the name is not I go to the body of the loop. I figure out what's the gross. I figure it out what is a sorry, I get the gross from user. I figure it out the deduct. I figure it out the net income. I print it out here. Name, gross, and deduct, and net income. Now, the third step is I need to get the new name in the body of the loop. Right? Then the process is works exactly the same. So basically, for the mainline logic here, I just expect you to understand that you have the three components in your program. You have the three components in your program. The first one, you have to initialize the loop control variable before you enter the loop. The second one, you test the condition here. That means you check with the condition y here. The y here. And the third one, you modify the loop control variable in the loop here in order to exit the loop. If not, you have to end this loop. Is it? Okay, so you see in my program here. You see in my program here, I can run it here, right? So we see what happened here if I enter the A here, right? Now you see A is not that's correct, right? So I go to the body of the loop here, I enter the 1000, I pick it out, right? His name X here, so A is Rod, and he is a leader, and he is a net income here. And now I have the process here to move to the next employee here, right? So now I put the B, I put the 500 here, I do the same process, I put C, I have the 2000 here, I do the same process, and now if I enter X here, so see, when I enter X here, you know that you go back to the condition here, you check, name now is X, right? It actually equal to the X here. That means the condition here is not correct, right? So I exit my loop here. Okay, that's all. Right? Okay, so basically it's a mainline logic. Yeah. So from now on, I believe that you have many problems with the mainline logic for the debugging exercise. So I hope you understand the concept here. Is whenever you look in the mainline logic here, you have three components you have to identify. Right? If you initialize the variable before you enter the loop or not, if you check the condition or not, or if you change the value of the variable that controls the loop or not, in the body of the loop or not. Right? Okay. Any question, guys? Let me know. Any question? So that is one of the problem here, right? So think about I make it very simple for this one. This one actually they call it is a unspecified number of iteration because the user is the one who determines when he wants to exit it, right? Sometimes he can do it for 2 number, sometimes he can do it for 10 number and 15 number. It's up to him. He just keep doing it until he enter number 0 here. That's why they call it the unspecified number of iteration here. The other one you can do with is a specified number of iteration. So in the case of a specified number of iteration here, you use a counter. Right? Think about for this one here. I know for sure I want to do it for 10 times. Right? See, for this one here. For sure. I want to do it for 10 times. That is a specified number of iteration. Right? So in that case here, I maintain the counter. Right? I initialize the counter to number 1 and I check the condition here. I keep doing it. If the counter is not 10 yet, I do it, right? And okay, see, that's the third one here. I have to modify the value of the variable that controls the loop. Right? So see what happened here. If I delete this one, what happened? Because yeah, the counter always stays 1. That's why you see it's only 2 here, never ever reaching to number 10. Right? And again, that is the end loop here. Make sense? Okay. So from the program here, right? I can use it. I can work with the modular structure also, right? Think about in my program here, in my original program here, right? So I can work with the modular structure, right? So think about I group them. I group here. I group all of them here. I put it in the module get ready here. Get ready, right? And everything here, I put it into the module detail loop here. Right? So for this one, if you look in my program here, for this one, so you see, I can break it down into the module, right? I have declaration here, everything about the global variable and constant here, right? I have get ready. What is get ready? I jump into get ready. Actually, get ready is that's a step. I initialize variable here. The control to loop here, right? So when I get ready here, I go return. I go to check the condition here. Y is number not zero. Again, I call for the processing. So when I go call for processing, I jump into processing. I figure out the answer. I print it out the answer. And of course, I need to get the new number. Right? So that's the process. You work with the modular structure for this one. Make sense? Yes, so you learned about hybrid chat already. So think about this one here. I break it down in the main program. You have housekeeping, you have detail loop, and end of job here. Think about this program. You see, in this program here, housekeeping, detail loop, and end of job. And sometimes you know that I mentioned it already. Sometimes you can break it down into multiple level of hierarchy here, right? Now think about this one. I have housekeeping, detail loop, end of job. In housekeeping, I have get order. In the case of detail loop here, I have processing order and the get order. So you see, I define for one module, get order, but actually I can use it for multiple times. I can reuse it for multiple times. That's the one benefit of the modular structure here, right? You define from the module for one time only, but you can use it for multiple times in your program or even in another program. When you learn about Python, you learn about module, you learn about the embedding process here. Okay. Uh, okay. So I think you guys take a short break for 5 minutes and we come back.